12 strongly raised the issue of loss and damage for claiming its share of climate funds from the international community, as it is bearing the brunt of climate change despite its negligible contribution to the global climate crisis. Next slide. Let me now go to the evaluation and energy evaluation in Nepal. Government of Nepal has laid emphasis on both energy and evaluation. Coming to the evaluation, Constitution of Nepal has 2 articles that are specific to evaluation. To translate constitutional provision into its practices, Nepal has developed M&E management bill, which is in the parliamentary approval process. Every development sector has M&E in practice in Nepal. Energy sector has a good M&E framework in place since 2014. The sector, however, is limited to monitoring and supervision. Assessment has been made for the demand and supply of energy. Government energy projects completed are evaluated. The earlier projects were evaluated using cost-benefit techniques. Evaluations done after 2010 have used OECD criteria. Value for money approach also is in use. Some projects are evaluated using multi-criteria analysis, wherein they look for technical and economical conditions and impact on the environment. Almost all evaluations are done using before and after approach and have not used without project approach. They have not also considered contribution of other interventions in the changed behavior of beneficiaries. Now let me move to the third question, which is about the proper evaluation procedure. Independent evaluators should have to follow the OECD criteria as per a new definition. The new M&E guidelines of Nepal has made it mandatory that we should use OECD criteria. Similarly, the guidelines also make it clear that evaluation should pay special attention to the cross-cutting issues related to environment, social equity, gender equality, human rights, and SDGs. It is important that evaluation should be conducted analyzing the contribution of other interventions in the changed behavior of beneficiaries. Regarding the communication of
we're going to now move to another country nearby in India. Ripu, it's your turn. Please share your slides if you have any.
Thank you. No, I don't have any slides. I think I prefer speaking up and having 100% attention to me what I speak than the presentation. So that's what I choose. So I'm part of the EEAP, as you all know, but I'll be presenting right now and will be part as part of the USAID Greening the Grid initiative, which is renewable integration and sustainable energy. But wasting much time on the introductions, I'll straight away jump into the subject, which is the question number 1, which say the government's viewpoints on the role of energy and the sustainable development in meeting climate change mitigation. So I think to be really quick, the energy sector plays a critical role in both meeting the sustainable development objectives and reducing the environmental externalities, particularly in an economy like India. The country is vulnerable to climate change impacts and is exposed to growing water stress, storms, floods, and other extreme weather events. Particularly the adaptation and resilience of the energy systems to these conditions should receive higher political priority. Moreover, India attaches greater importance to the Kigali Amendment to the Montreal Protocol on ozone depletion substances, given its soaring cooling demand. So India acknowledges that early action to address air pollution and emissions will reduce future adaptation needs. Providing secure, affordable, and sustainable energy to all is an important policy priority in India, and major progress has been made towards the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, notably the SDG number 7 on energy. India has been addressing energy-related environmental pollution since 1980s, including issues related to air, water, and land, and energy sector waste, with groundbreaking legislation under the Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act, reducing the health impacts of energy production and use and use and air pollution, now part of SDG 3, is also a key priority, and the government of India has adopted comprehensive and stringent rules for the power and transport sectors as well. Climate change as SDG number 13 is a key driver of the policy agenda on which India shows strong international leadership. The country's share of global energy-related carbon dioxide emissions, CO2 emissions as we generally call it, has increased by more than 2 percentage points since 2007 to account for about 4.4% of the global total, with emissions rising by around 70% in absolute terms. India has submitted a nationally determined contribution, which we generally call it as NDCs, under the Paris Agreement, with considerable mitigation efforts taking into account India's low per capita emissions and its development priorities. Overall, GOI, the Government of India has placed sustainable development at the heart of its policy action, notably the goals of reaching universal energy access, clean cooking, improving air quality, and tackling climate change. However, while universal electricity access is within reach, the recent analysis of IEEA, the International Energy Agency, still shows that under current trends, more than 500 million Indians will still lack access to clean cooking by 2030, with implications for greater health and a 20% decline in emission energy intensity over the past decade. In fact, the Prime Minister announced in September 2019 at the UN Climate Summit that an increased ambition to attain 450 gigawatts of renewables capacity without providing an exact time frame. I mean, there is no exact time frame, but he has actually put an ambition increase to about 450 gigawatts, which is more than 2 times of what it was originally. I think that's what I'll conclude in terms of the energy and the sustainable development goals. But I think the importance, which is the second question on this platform today, is the importance of properly and transparently evaluating the government energy policy. I think it is pretty much evident from the recent CAG report, the Controller Audit General of India report that came out very recently, and it concluded that I think the findings were really shocking for both the consumers who ended up trusting the scheme. Sure, and the Bureau of Energy Efficiency Appliance Standards and Labeling Scheme, which CAG did rightfully recommend it for more frequent testing and evaluations of reporting of such organizations, along with from approved labs. I think the most pertinent question to this group today is for the proper evaluation procedures and how the outcomes could be evaluated and the evaluated could be communicated to the stakeholders. I think the pertinent question now is currently evaluation is typically the last item on any government set agenda. It's not just India. And we need to really find out what are the ways and means to evaluate that perception of why the evaluation is at the last item on any government agenda. And I think as a community, we need to answer key questions about what could be the priorities for evaluation, why it is not a priority, which is basically a perception issue, which is coming up historically, that it's more often related to negativities than the positive things. I think as a community, we need to change that perception. And for that, we need to be really, really simple and effective in communicating the results of the evaluation, put it right there, value of evaluation, as Ed, you rightly said, it needs to be largely communicated, and it needs to be really open to the right stakeholders, to the right decision makers, to make sure that evaluation becomes the agenda for, and not just energy, but overall as a subject. I think that's where I'll stop probably. It's just over 5 seconds or 10 seconds from now.
That's great. Thank you very much. Let's see. Our next speaker is going to be from Sri Lanka, Thusitha. Great.
Hope you can see my slides.
Yeah, we can see your slides and we can hear you.
Thanks for the opportunity given to share our experience in Sri Lanka. I am Thusitha, a newcomer to this group, but try to present the Sri Lanka situation. I have been working with the energy sector for the last 30 years, and especially with the government, some of the policy interventions. Recently, I have been working as a Director General for Sri Lanka Sustainable Energy Authority for 4 years, presently involved with the NDCs SDGs and also environmental action plan. So I have some idea regarding this topic. Basically, we look at the Sri Lanka, we basically depend on both renewable energies and fossil, like 50% each, approximately, but that percentage of renewable is coming down because of the increasing demand now. More and more catered by in transport sector, oil, and also illicit sector coal. Present, we have 100% access to electricity, and the governance, when we look at the energy sector governance and consultation, mobilization through that. So when you look at this present policy, the scenarios, the national policy framework is the new government, as well as national energy policy and strategy usually promote the sustainability aspect, but we have also issued that the cost of electricity, they want to also kind of policy framework through which the government is mandated, all the government institutions to mainstream SDGs in their the actions. So that's happening now. Other key driver is the Paris Agreement. The enhanced NDC is being now updated, where the energy sector, especially energy sector, is the main contributor for the mitigation target, 25% mitigation. There's a national MRE framework being prepared or being established in the NDCs, which basically link to the energy sector data, monitoring, reporting, and verification. Some of the overall policy targets in the government, we have 70% renewable energy target by 2030, and also the demand side management, 20% reduction in the demand again by 2030. And also some of the other targets include electric mobility to cater the emission management in transport sector.
One
so
minute,
some of the targets, and we can see that the government has a emphasis on energy sector for sustainable development as well as the climate change mitigation. So we look at the energy evaluation, it's done in a different way, but here we are talking about basically at national level. In Information Management Sustainability Authority, they publish this Sri Lanka Energy Balance. It's an analysis of energy sector performance, but these analyses are usually linked to or limited to technical and financial, not environment or social. Then electricity sector plan is done by Ceylon Electricity Board, where they have long-term generation expansion plan, where it's basically the sources are selected by technical, financial, and environment aspect. But
10
again,
seconds.
So then we have the PUCSL looking at sector regulation. The transparency and accountability, we have issues, but then the present the SDGs as well as NDCs, and also we have national policy on national evaluation policy that will provide a basis for evaluation. This is my last slide. The challenges presently, all these different interventions are done kind of in silos, so we have limited interagency coordination and also stakeholder mobilization. There's issues. In addition, we have this methodical and framework. There are gaps there. The way forward, basically, as I said, mandate provided by the Paris Agreement, MR system, and also enhanced transparency framework, and also SDGs, the guiding principles, and we have national the evaluation policy, and also those will provide kind of opportunities for us to go forward. But we have issues in the capacity, especially and methods and tools. So that's where we need some intervention to mainstream energy evaluation in Sri Lanka. With that, I will stop. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very good, very informative. We're now going to China and Peng Cheng.
Hello, this is Peng Cheng.
Yes,
yes, I'm here.
Okay. You have slides or no slides?
No, I will only give oral presentation, so no slides.
Okay. Good.
Okay. Thank you for this invitation. I'm very happy to share some progress in China. So in China, we have just a new target on climate. We are going to peak the carbon emission in 2030, before 2030, and to achieve carbon neutrality before 2060. So it's a new target. To achieve these climate targets, the first priority area is the energy. So we are going to build a clean, low carbon, safe and efficient energy system. So in this for this kind of new energy system, the first job is energy conservation and energy efficiency. So in our
Just want to mention your
go ahead.
video was.
Oh, sorry. I think it's some technical issue, so I will
Continue
go through.
then.
Sorry
Yep.
for this. Okay. So in the 14th five-year plan from 2021 to 2025, the target is to reduce energy intensity by 13.5%. It's lower than before, but I think still it's a hard job. And we're also going to improve the efficiency in different sector, industry, building, transportation, all of things. And we need some new technology, green and low carbon technology. And we are also going to build the an emission trading system. It's also helpful for energy efficiency and energy conservation. So for the evaluation of energy policy and program, the normal thing is, we are a very centralized system. So from central government to provincial level to local level, we have an evaluation system to assess the performance of different level governments in reducing energy the intensity and achieve energy saving target goal. Quarterly, the central governments will do such kind of assessments and publish some results, but no many details in this. Just only some progress communication in this job. And another thing, some research institutes, they done a lot of job. For example, our institute, China National Institute of Standardization, we regularly evaluate the energy labeling program and the standard program, and also some academic institute or university. They also done some evaluation of specific energy policy or program. And also, we a very large system, so different level, different sectors, so a lot of policy in central level, in local level. So a lot of things on evaluation, but unfortunately, we do not have a standard framework to do this kind of evaluation. And we also do not have the uniform or general monitoring and evaluation plan for energy. Okay, thank you for energy policy or energy program. So I think this is a weakness of the system. Yes, we already done a lot, pre-evaluation when we prepare the policy or program, but the process evaluation or post-evaluation is still a weakness. So I think it's we hope that can work in this community and to get more experts locally to join the discussion in this platform and share the best practice, protocol, standard, framework. And I think all this can help us to improve the evaluation on energy program and policy. I think we need a very good system for these things. So thank you. I learned a lot and hope keep communication. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was great. Our next speakers from Japan are Hidetoshi Nakagami is not feeling well, but we have another speaker. Let's see, Chiwan, are you on?
Yes, I'm here. It's my great pleasure to hear. So my name is Ji Xuan, a researcher working at Jukankyo Research Institute. Can you see my slides? Is it okay for you? Okay. Okay, so let me just, okay. So as you know, Japan aims at 46 reduction compared to the fiscal year 2013. So the industrial businesses and the household and transportation sectors account for the great majority of carbon dioxide emissions generated by the energy consumption. So for the residential sector, the Japanese government established a goal of net zero energy house roadmap to achieve zero emission in newly constructed houses by 2020 and by 2030 respectively. But we plan, if we plan to become carbon neutral by 2050, I think not only for the newly constructed houses, but also for the existing houses, it is very important to improve the efficiency for them. So I will show you some ongoing projects regarding this. So this is one of the projects for promoting efforts in the residential sector by using behavioral insights, including nudge theory. So this was carried out joined by Oracle Japan and our company, which is supported by the Ministry of the Environment. So this is O-Power's home energy report for Japanese people. So the report compares the energy consumption of your home to some similar neighbors to make you a better informed consumer of electricity. And I picked some main results. So for monthly, it seems like the mean energy usage and percentage savings varies 1 to 2.5% by different regions and by different seasons, Malaysia and Indonesia as well. And we established, sorry, one more thing here. We established a kind of this database we called Build Asia. So if you are interested in it, we hope we can cooperate together by using this kind of communication or more opportunity to expand this kind of database in near future. So because of the limited time, I think I will finish my presentation. Yeah. If you
Brilliant. I forgot to say 1 minute.
Yes, please just contact me later. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you very much for stepping in. We appreciate it. Now on to Korea. Hyen. I know you're there.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry,
Hi.
it says I cannot share the screen. Oh.
Maybe try now.
Can I share it? Okay.
Yeah, it might be that it might be.
Since it's working. Oops.
Yeah.
I think stop.
You have to stop the Chinese presentation.
Yeah, you have to stop sharing the existing presentation.
Is that
Oh.
Zai?
Oh, I shared it.
Oh, perfect, got it. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right.
Thank you.
So, hello, my name is Angel. Well, nice to meet you all. And now, thanks for having me today. And I'll keep it very short. So I'll briefly explain what Korean government does for energy and how the energy evaluations have been carried out in Korea. Like others, Korea also gives lots of importance on energy, and recently in the past 2 years, Korean government announced multiple energy plans. So I picked largely 4 master plans. First is Third Energy Master Plan. This is sort of the main master plan for energy that provides the long-term plans up to 2040. Then in 2020, Korean Green New Deal was declared for the industrial decarbonization, followed by 9th Basic Plan on electricity demand and supply and renewable energy basic plan. So the last 2 plans consist of power supply and demand forecast, demand management plan, and measures to reduce greenhouse gases. Under these many plans, the government views the training very important and essential component to run those energy programs sustainably, because this is a way to generate the experts who can operate and evaluate the energy programs. In Korea, Korea Energy Agency is currently running 13 expert training programs for energy programs. So to enhance public accountability, 2 trainings are targeting civil servants in the local governments and public institutions. To give you a clear idea how we conduct evaluations, I wanted to share with you one example of energy evaluation in Korea, from which you can roughly see the evaluation process. Since Korea adopted energy efficiency resource standard in 2018, energy utilities are now obligated to carry out energy efficiency programs. And to evaluate the programs, the 3 bodies, Ministry of Trade, Industry, and Energy, Korea Energy Agency, and the Review Committee, they are playing the important roles. KEA is the energy-focused public agency under the ministry, and they select the internal and external experts to make a review committee member. So the ministry and KEA design monitoring and evaluation criteria, and the review committee evaluate the program plans submitted by the utilities. And then KEA supports utilities to design monitoring framework for the utilities to facilitate the process, including data collection and management. Then the KEA conducts a regular monitoring to check the status of energy efficiency programs. But still, there are several limitations for the evaluations. First of all, there are not many guidelines or manuals available that evaluators can use to evaluate the programs, the program and portfolio level impact. Secondly, this is a universal issue, but Korea also has the issues with baseline. So we need to recalculate and readjust the baseline. So this is it from Korea. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great. That was really good. So just want to check, Chitra from Singapore, are you on at all? Say yes if you are. I think she may be missing today. Okay. I think she's not here. So our last speaker in this session, before we go on to John in Energy Evaluation in Indonesia, is Romeo, and I'm hoping you've waited this out and we'll hear about the Philippines. I know Romeo, I see Romeo, whoop, there you go. We can't hear you though. Can you talk?
Yes, can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Do you have slides or are you just going to talk?
Yes, I have, I think 5 slides.
Okay, share your slides.
There you are.
That looks good so far. Yep. Okay.
So I will talk about the Philippines, the latest updates, and I'm inclined to stick to the questions preferred here. I'm Romeo Santos. I am connected with the University of the Philippines right now. I used to be the president of APIAS from 2018 to 2020, and also I advise the local evaluation association here in the Philippines. So the first question is my government's viewpoints on the role of energy in sustainable development. Well, I think that's very obvious. No government will say, okay, I am against that. If we are about sustainable development and meeting the climate change mitigation, we adhere to that pursuits. But it's very different what's happening in the ground, especially when we consider the current conditions in the country. We are deep into the COVID-19. Is lack of a chaos right now, and you could expect that the concern about evaluation is being put at the backstage right now. Our economy is suffering from this pandemic, negative 4.8 reduction in the rate of our economy. So what's happening in the Philippines regarding evaluation? What about the SDG? I could see that, of course, it was very hard to achieve the SDG, not only in the Philippines, maybe the whole world. We're talking about how to achieve the HTC during the pandemic, but I don't know, we can. Now, I tried to look into evaluation of energy in the Philippines, but it's very hard for me to find in the government because the situation in the government is not, we are still building capacity in evaluation. Evaluation in a way that we practice in the mainstream, where we focus on the comprehensive means of interventions, policies, and programs. We used to do the traditional way, and until now, I think much of the evaluation being done is about efficiency, which is connected to, profit, something like that, the commercial issue and something. But evaluation right now is very different, especially when we consider that criteria, the relevance, efficiency, and effectiveness, sustainability, and in fact, including coherence, which is new. So what we can find here, looking at the questions right here, I think 2, 3, 4 would be a little bit moot already because, the government is still developing capacity. The consciousness about the true practice of evaluation should still be disseminated and pushed to the level of policymakers and decision makers. That's why here in our local association and even the regional association, we're looking at that. We have now a bill, actually, 2 bills in establishing the legal basis of results-based evaluation or the development evaluation. When we had our Asia Pacific Conference 2019, we were able to reach the Senate, and the first author of the bill, according to this, was a senator from the upper house, and she belonged to the minority bloc. And look, the recent is in 2020, a bill authored by the daughter of the former President Marcos. She belonged to the majority bloc, and the future here. Okay, but more in energy sector remains limited, and something like that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I know we're a little over. We have a few minutes more. John had assured me, John Raspati, that would be okay, particularly since this is, again, one of the more important items on the webinar, and I would be very reluctant if we stopped right here. So I'm going to introduce John. I'm assuming he's on still. He's a senior longtime activist in clean energy development. He's currently chairman of the Indonesian Energy Efficiency and Conservation Organization, MASCI, a position he's been holding since 2014. Before taking that position, he was a long-term activist with the Indonesian Renewable Energy Society, serving on the board of directors. And he's currently a senior advisor to the Indonesia Solar Energy Association. I could say more. He's just been a stalwart in the energy field, and John has some remarks. John?
Yes, thank you very much, Ed. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to be a single speaker here. I'm going to introduce later on my younger colleague, Agus, who is going to present our plan to develop Indonesian energy evaluation in Indonesia. That's what I meant, EEI. So why we are interested in doing that, and why we are passionate in doing this. As a matter of fact, I was inspired by our meeting in Bangkok 2 years ago, because we understand that there is no such an evaluation that we are talking about here in Indonesia, as far as I know. Evaluation is being done on a basis, and the need to evaluate is based on if there is a problem, then you evaluate it. And many times evaluation is confused with audit. It's like what I've heard from our colleague in other countries. So while in the first place, we have so many things that we need to evaluate. But I see a general trend here in our colleagues in many countries that the evaluation as we are talking about here is not yet established. So this is a big job for our EEAP to find the solution and to give capacity building to all these countries. This is my proposal that that EEAP will play that role in bringing up the expertise from anywhere in the world to develop real evaluators or professional evaluators in the countries. So Indonesia, the Indonesia energy evaluation, what we thought is we are going to place ourselves as a partner to the government instead of against the government or putting like the NGO, but we will be the partner of the government, so we will work with the government to evaluate this. Of course, it needs a lot of convincing that Indonesia is going to, the Indonesian government is going to let evaluation done by private or by private community. We are still a long way to go in making our community becoming a real professional evaluators. But to give you the bright picture, what we are going to do, my colleague Agus is going to present what we plan to do. I would let Agus to continue this talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Agus, are you
yes,
on?
Thank you, Pak John. I would like to share my screens, if you don't mind. Let's see if I can do that. Everyone see the slide?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. So greetings, everyone. My name is Agus. I am the co-founder of the Indonesian Development Evaluation Community and currently chair of the Indonesian, this called INDEC. And I'm welcoming the idea of establishing this professional community in Indonesia. So on behalf of Pak John, I would like to present the idea itself. So probably I don't need to reiterate again the importance of evaluation, which is try to promote accountability, try to demonstrate the effectiveness and effective use of public resources, because we are aware that a lot of energy sectors development actually using the public funding, and we like to improve the policy making, also the program implementation, also the program design itself. And by evaluation, we like to contribute in the development of body of knowledge in the energy sector, and actually helping us in demonstrating the success of policy program for wider application or adoptions. So this is very standard. And I would like to also emphasize again the issue and challenge in Indonesia. It's also common in other sectors, but we experience the problem in evaluation practice, which are evaluation sometimes connected in ad hoc manners, and it's not yet part of the program project. It's not really planned well, and it's connected without clear methodology or standard. So it's just very, very wishy-washy exercise, something like that. And talking about the evaluation use, evaluation report is sometimes often considered as irrelevant, doesn't specifically serve the purpose and needs. A lot of the policymaker or users actually don't see the usefulness of it, like, because probably it's not really answering the key question, the key problems. And also because of the organizational culture, the lack of cultural value in the organization or in the community itself for using the evaluations. I think at FINE, as mentioned about people are not comfortable in using the finding of the evaluation as well. So I guess the idea of having this community or kind of like community of practice for evaluation in energy sector is actually for this achieving goals, expecting that all stakeholders participating and contributing in the improvement of the energy sectors by practicing evaluations in a proper way, and also helping the governments achieve better performance in managing the sectors through the improved policy, better planning, effective budgeting, and all this good implementation that are supported by evidence or findings from evaluations. And also another goal is actually build the evaluation profession and actually ensuring that the evaluation products regarded as important, credible, and contributing to the improvement of the energy sector as well. So this is the overall strategic approach. We start with networking and identifying key actors, and then doing some advocacy with certain key actors and doing some capacity building, having a collaboration with them, and also diffusion, meaning that we share the value, communicating the value of evaluations to every stakeholders, in the hope that in the future we can have a change mindset, a change policy, and change practice around the energy sector developments through evaluations. So this the proposed activity focusing on the advocacy of the merit and benefit of using evaluations and fostering the evaluations needs through the awareness buildings, actually building the supply side, and supporting the building for the energy evaluation professionals and establishing the standard and participating the network of evaluation organizations. And this is the overall diagram of ecosystems. We like to influence mainly in a direct way to the pool of evaluators, the current individuals, the practicing evaluators, and also these evaluation service providers, private entities, academia, institutions that actually play a bigger role in conducting evaluations. And the next layer is evaluation users, which is actually the main client probably of the evaluation, the main users that would use evaluation for their policy making, for program improvement, or for program designs, and for reporting as well, accountability reporting. And there are a lot of what you call it specific special interest group that might be a key audience of the evaluation, that might be important to engage as a what you call it a reader or the users of the evaluations for their own interests as well, including the media, the CSO NGO that actually can bring more pressures and public accountability of how to use the evaluations. And we kind of like envisage the evolving or the planned state of development of energy evaluation in Indonesia in the futures. So probably in the first stage, we establish as a network probably, and with loose membership and focus on the networking and knowledge sharing, and then become later on as an organized community of practice with strict membership, regulation, a bylaw, constitution, or even need to be legalized and formally registered. And maybe in the future, we could be more professional knowledge by public and professionals, because we have like a certificate process and credentialing process there. So that's it. I hope I don't take up too much time. I will be happy to take more questions afterward.
You did great. In fact, I love it. And I think every country should emulate what you're doing in Indonesia. It's perfect in what we're trying to do. So congratulations and good luck in energy evaluation in Indonesia.
Thank you.
Hebe, you have last remark?
Yeah, Yeah, so just a few final words from me. I've popped it in the group chat, but just to reiterate the point that we're going to record the whole session today, and we will be sharing it on the Energy Evaluation YouTube channel. And also just a huge thank you to all us today. It's been some really, really interesting thoughts shared, and definitely to just keep the conversation going. Follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, etc., and keep talking to each other. John, I don't know if there's anything else from you.
I don't think so, Hebe. I think it has been a wonderful discussion on our representation. I learned a lot from many countries, and one red line I observe is there are so many to be evaluated, but there is no body of knowledge of evaluation and best practices. We need to develop that, I think, together. Thank you.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I don't think we've got any questions in the chat. So as long as no one has any questions, I'll just wait on for about 30 seconds if anyone else has any questions. Otherwise, we can end the session there.
Yeah, I think it is time. It's been a long webinar. I appreciate everybody staying to the very end, and I'm glad we did, because I think we really ended on a high note. So thanks all for participating. I appreciate it. I've learned a lot myself.
Yeah.
Me too. Thank you all, and have a lovely day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much, everyone. Keep in touch.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Ini gimana cuannya, Pak? Kalau saya sih baru aja beli emas nih. Lumayan kan? Siapa tahu naik lagi, ya nggak? Kalau saya sih nggak main emas, Pak. Saya mendingan main ini aja. Nggak nyangka, beli setahun yang lalu, malah jadi untung.
Kalau saya, invest di tanaman hias aja. Bisa beli lipat cuannya.
Wah, pada tinggi-tinggi ya cuannya. Tapi kalau cuan aja nggak fleksibel, repot juga ya. Kalau aku sih cari cuannya di sini aja. Bunganya lebih tinggi dari tabungan biasa loh.
Tapi jangan lupa, harus fleksibel diambilnya. Harus longgar. Dan semudah mindahin dari rekening kamu ke aku.
Wah, mantul!
Cuan lebih tinggi, fleksibilitas tak terbatas.
Kita baru saja menang, tapi untuk jamin pekerjaannya.
Saatnya kembali ke
Tani ibu langsung di gb-online.bni.co.id, isi application, lanjut approve, rilis, data submit deh. Sudah BNI.
Bank Negara Indonesia bertekad untuk terus maju, bergerak membangun bangsa, dan berkomitmen untuk senantiasa memberikan yang terbaik bagi pemerintah dan masyarakat Indonesia. BNI ikut serta dalam mewujudkan sebuah konsep kota impian masa depan, kota cerdas yang terintegrasi dengan teknologi, mengelola sumber daya secara efektif melalui digitalisasi transaksi untuk meningkatkan kualitas hidup masyarakatnya. BNI sepenuhnya mendukung arahan pemerintah dalam mendorong penerapan program Smart City pada beberapa pemerintahan daerah di Indonesia. Penerapan Smart City pada sebuah kota atau kabupaten memberikan begitu banyak kemudahan dalam bertransaksi, transparansi pemerintahan daerah, dan meningkatkan kualitas pelayanan publik. Dengan jaringan cabang BNI yang luas, channel transaksi online yang beragam, Smart City telah sukses diaplikasikan di sebagian besar pemerintahan daerah di Indonesia. Dengan ikut berpartisipasi dalam mensukseskan program Smart City, BNI telah turut mewujudkan cashless society dalam meningkatkan pelayanan di daerah seperti digitalisasi dan transparansi proses transaksi keuangan pemerintah daerah, memberikan solusi untuk peningkatan penerimaan pajak asli daerah dengan sistem yang terintegrasi dan real-time online, dan meningkatkan kepercayaan publik terhadap transparansi retribusi, penyaluran anggaran, dan pelayanan pemerintah daerah. BNI menghadirkan solusi terbaik yang efektif dan efisien dalam membantu pengelolaan penyaluran anggaran daerah dengan BNI Direct SP 2D Online. BNI juga membantu peningkatan pendapatan pajak asli daerah melalui solusi penerimaan pajak daerah serta solusi transaksi cashless lainnya. BNI terus berinovasi dan menyediakan solusi yang sejalan dengan dimensi-dimensi Smart City. Untuk Indonesia, kami selalu ada, dimanapun, kapanpun. BNI, melayani negeri kebanggaan bangsa.
BNI.
Jadi gimana cuannya, Pak? Kalau saya sih baru aja beli emas nih. Lumayan kan? Siapa tahu naik lagi, ya nggak?
Kalau saya sih nggak main emas, Pak. Saya mendingan main ini aja. Nggak nyangka, beli setahun yang lalu, malah jadi untung.
Kalau saya investasi tanaman hias aja, bisa beli 4 cuannya.
Wah, pada tinggi-tinggi ya cuannya. Tapi kalau cuan aja nggak fleksibel, repot juga ya. Kalau aku sih cari cuannya di sini aja. Bunganya lebih tinggi dari tabungan biasa loh.
Tapi jangan lupa, harus fleksibel diambilnya, harus longgar. Dan semudah mindahin dari rekening kamu ke aku.
Wah, mantul!
Cuan lebih tinggi, fleksibilitas tak terbatas.
Bank Negara Indonesia bertekad untuk terus maju, membangun bangsa, dan berkomitmen untuk senantiasa memberikan yang terbaik bagi pemerintah dan masyarakat Indonesia. BNI ikut serta dalam mewujudkan sebuah konsep kota impian masa depan, kota cerdas yang terintegrasi. Dengan ikut berpartisipasi dalam mensukseskan program Smart City, BNI telah turut mewujudkan cashless society dalam meningkatkan. BNI terus berinovasi dan menyediakan solusi yang sejalan dengan dimensi-dimensi Smart City. Untuk Indonesia, kami selalu ada, dimanapun, kapanpun. BNI, melayani negeri kebanggaan bangsa.